In today's video, we're diving deep into the evolving weather pattern across the nation, highlighting a series of frequent and powerful cold fronts expected to sweep through in the coming weeks. At times, genuine Arctic air will surge southward, bringing that sharp, biting chill. Though at other times, it'll be temporarily cut off. Even so, a steady train of frontal systems will continue marching west to east, each one delivering its own punch of cooler air and dynamic weather. Some of these systems will come loaded with significant precipitation, fueling heightened storm activity. After the recent major storm system that just moved through, the atmosphere isn't calming down anytime soon. The next couple of weeks look action-packed. So let's start by breaking down the current conditions, especially since many of you have plans for Halloween this evening. I'm recording this at 2:45 p.m., so by the time you're watching, much of what we see now will have progressed further along its path, though not drastically changed. Currently, we're tracking active weather across the Northwest, North Central, and Northeastern United States, three distinct systems unfolding simultaneously. Starting out west, scattered showers are pushing through coastal Washington, tapering near the Cascades. However, a few pockets of rain are slipping into more central and even eastern portions of the state. Offshore storm activity is visible as well, and some of that moisture could drift into northern Oregon later this afternoon and evening. Moving into the central U.S., a weak low-pressure center is producing light showers across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Nebraska, Kansas, and Iowa. East of that system, scattered rainfall is spilling into Wisconsin and both the upper and lower peninsulas of Michigan, with the heaviest bands concentrated over the UP. By later this evening, that rain should shift toward northern Wisconsin, possibly brushing through Green Bay as the system drifts eastward. Heading further east, much of southern Canada is seeing a widespread soaking. Cities like Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec are dealing with steady rain and damp, gloomy skies. Toronto is right on the fringe of the main precipitation band, so conditions may improve slightly through the evening, though for much of the region, especially Ottawa through Quebec, it's shaping up to be a wet and stormy night. Down into the U.S. Northeast, northern Pennsylvania is catching the northern edge of this system, with scattered showers pushing into northern New Jersey, New York City, and possibly Long Island. Again, these areas are on the boundary, meaning rain chances could decrease as the evening progresses. Meanwhile, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts may see a few passing sprinkles, while upstate New York, southern Vermont, and southern New Hampshire are currently faring better under mostly cloudy but dry skies. Still, a few isolated light showers could spin through later tonight. Maine is dry for now, but as the night goes on, some of those lighter rain bands rotating around the system could clip parts of the state, though the heaviest core is expected to remain offshore. Elsewhere, conditions are generally calm and pleasant across the southern half of the nation, outside of a few scattered showers in Kansas, Nebraska, and perhaps parts of New Mexico and Colorado. Most southern states are enjoying clear, mild weather for now. A quiet pause before the next wave of activity arrives. A really pleasant Halloween is unfolding for much of the lower half of the nation. Calm skies, mild air, and a well-timed break from the action. But now, let's turn our attention to what's coming next. We'll take a deep dive into the model guidance and explore how the upcoming weather pattern evolves over the next several days. Nothing beats up-to-the-minute data when we're this close to Halloween night. Looking back over the past 30 days, essentially the entire month of October, we can see a clear pattern. Cooler than average conditions along the West Coast, warmer than normal temperatures across the central U.S., and near normal to slightly cooler readings across much of the East. That contrast has helped fuel frequent storm activity, and it's about to continue. Now, let's jump into the precipitation outlook. Starting around 8 p.m. tonight, a key window for your Halloween plans. As expected, coastal Washington continues to deal with steady rain, with northwestern Oregon beginning to pick up more of that moisture. Across the north-central states and upper Midwest, light, scattered showers linger beneath that lingering low-pressure area. The northeast and southeastern Canada remain the most unsettled zones this evening, with widespread rain extending through northern Pennsylvania and into southern Ontario and Quebec. Farther south across southern New England, conditions look mostly dry on this run, though a few stray sprinkles can't be ruled out. Mainly across northern New York and the northern tier of New England. By tomorrow afternoon, November 1st, we'll see things ramp up again in the Pacific Northwest as another wave of energy moves ashore. Meanwhile, precipitation over the central U.S. begins to drift southward toward the deep south, carried by a developing upper-level trough. The northeast, on the other hand, looks to dry out temporarily. Moving into Sunday, November 2nd, the overall picture flattens out. A patchwork of light, scattered precipitation across the northwest, north-central, and upper Midwest, while portions of the southeast pick up passing showers. Nothing major, but enough to keep skies gray and damp in spots. By Monday, we notice something interesting. The lingering energy over the southeast starts to curl offshore, forming what could be an early week coastal storm. If this trend continues, it could bring gusty winds and persistent rainfall along parts of the southeast coastline. At this point, two main scenarios emerge. The storm could track northward along the coast, bringing heavier rain and wind impacts up the eastern seaboard, or it could slide directly eastward, moving harmlessly out to sea after briefly brushing the southeast. Based on the latest data, the second option appears more likely, a quick-moving system that departs early, keeping overall impacts minimal. Through mid-next week, around November 5th, the jet stream dips modestly eastward, producing cooler conditions across the east and milder weather across the south-central and western states. By Thursday, November 6th, another low-pressure system begins developing across southeastern Canada, spreading rain into the northeast once again, while the Rockies and Pacific Northwest stay stormy. Mostly rain in the valleys, but snow in the higher elevations. Friday, November 7th, another strong system appears over the Midwest, centered near Illinois with a pressure of around 997 millimeter, bringing widespread rainfall across the region, while the Northwest remains active. Heading into Saturday, November 8th, this energy consolidates across the north-central and northeastern states, producing rain from the Dakotas through New England. The West Coast looks quieter by this time, but the jet stream remains tilted eastward, supporting cooler air in the east and lingering warmth out west. Then comes Sunday, November 9th, when we see a more pronounced trough digging southward, a setup that opens the door for a stronger push of Arctic air into the eastern half of the nation. A pronounced ridge out west amplifies this dip, allowing much colder than normal temperatures to flood into the east. Expect dreary skies, widespread showers, and a genuine taste of early-season chill. Meanwhile, another storm system approaches the Pacific coast, ensuring that even as one pattern fades, the next is already on the horizon, setting the stage for an active, dynamic start to November across the United States. The Pacific Northwest has been absolutely getting hammered lately. Relentless rounds of rain, mountain snow, and gusty winds. And that pattern doesn't look to be letting up anytime soon. Over the next couple of weeks, the storm track stays active, and things only get more dynamic across the rest of the country. By Monday, November 10th, a broad trough settles over the eastern United States, keeping a chill in the air and producing scattered showers across the northern tier and even parts of Texas. Thank you guys, see you next video.